Yo, what is up YouTube? This is SS99 here, and I'm here to apologize once again for not posting a lot of videos, but I've been super duper busy. All I have to say is life of a music major, because we have it rough at college. But enough about my life. Let's go ahead and get into what is known in English as Primal Clash. Now, I've seen this in Japanese and everything, but yeah, let's just take a look at the English. This has been announced on PokeBeach, and I think they're missing a few cards as they've stated, but hey, we'll just take a look at what they got. So, I just want to focus mainly on the rare cards and cards that may have potential or cards that might be interesting. So today, we'll start, this list starts with the grass-type Pokemon, so we'll go ahead and start with Sceptile. Everybody's favorite Hoenn region grass-type Pokemon. So it has this ability, Nurture and Heal. Once during your turn, you may attach a Grass Energy card from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, heal 30 damage from it. So this is pretty much like the Herb Energy from Furious Fist, only it's with an ability, and it's with a basic Grass Energy. So not only is it Energy Acceleration, it's more healing. I think they're trying to promote healing for Grass-type decks, but hey, it might work. The only issue with the Sceptile, though, is the fact that it's a Stage 2, and ever since Seismitoad's been released, well, yeah, Stage 2 Pokemon have not been as playable. But you never know. And plus, I know this is old news, but I'd like to point out that the half art cards, or large art cards, whatever you want to call them, I don't know what they're officially called, but they just look really, really, really cool. And if you notice, all these large art cards have this thing called, what's it called? Ancient Traits. Yeah, it's called Ancient Traits. And this is an example called Omega Barrier. This is what this large art slash half art Sceptile has. You know what, I'm just going to call it large art. So if I'm wrong, and please don't hate on me. But anyway, whenever your opponent plays a trainer card, excluding Pokemon tools and stadium cards, prevent all effects of that card done to this Pokemon. So, in other words, I don't know if that means that you can't Lysander it out or anything, but hey, it's definitely worth something. It can't be Hypnotoxic Laser, you know? And its attacks are pretty mediocre, though. I mean, Leaf Blade for 1 energy, 30, flip a coin if heads to start more. And then Poison Powder, 120, and then discard an energy, and your opponent's active Pokemon's now poisoned. Very mediocre overall. But it's still a cool looking card. I do like the large arts. Ludicolo, let's see what this guy does. Once during your turn, you may flip a coin. If heads, switch one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with his or her active Pokemon. So it's basically like a chance of a Lysander, or basically a Pokemon catcher for an ability once per turn. This might not be too bad, actually. Once again, the only issue is the fact that it's a Stage 2. But it might be worth running like one of in each deck, you know? Just kill something of your opponents that you don't want to see. Like the Garbiter wouldn't work because it shuts off abilities. But point is, I see potential in this card. It's decent. Just the fact that it's a Stage 2 is what's got me a little about it. But anyway, enough about that. Next, or last grass Pokemon I want to look at is Trevenant EX. So, I'm very disappointed in this card. I mean, Trevenant looks really cool. I just like the artwork of Trevenant. And the first Trevenant that we've seen in the X and Y base set was really annoying as crap. But this one is really awful. I'll show you why. So for 1 Grass Energy, 20 damage, and the defending Pokemon can't retreat. And Wood Blast is like Keldeo Secret Sword, only with Grass Energies. If they've made more Grass Acceleration, with the exception of Virizion, for like, you know, something similar to Blastoise or Emboar, like this would be really cool. But they didn't, so Trevenant is not worth it in my opinion. But that's all the grass-type Pokemon that I want to look at. Now let's take a look at the fire-type Pokemon. Now before we get into the seriousness, I just want to say this Macargo looks really happy. I mean, look at him. He's just got that really big smile on his face. His pupils are dilated. He just looks like he's really happy to see you. And once I open up in the pack, I'll be like, nope, I don't want to see you. And, okay, enough about that. So, the half-art move Cargo does not look too bad, actually. I mean, I will take a look at all the half arts because I think the half arts look really, really cool. But anyway, Macargo has the Omega Barrier like Sceptile has, and Ram for 30 fire energy and then colorless, and then for fire and double colorless 60, and then 60 more if the Pokemon's an EX Pokemon. Not too bad actually. It's somewhat solid. Like I mean, I've seen better. Just make sure I didn't miss any half arts. I've seen better, but it could work. It could really work. All right, now I'm gonna take a minute on this card because I'm very disappointed, and here's why. So they made a half art Torchic with Omega Barrier, which Omega Barrier does this. It's a Pokemon may attack twice a turn, so pretty good, yeah. But they didn't make a half art Blaziken. Spoiler alert: they've made a half art Swampert and Sceptile, but not a half art Blaziken. I understand that if they've made a Blaziken half art with a ancient trait, yeah, they would have to, you know, dumb him down a lot, but come on. Blaziken's like my favorite Pokemon. Speaking of which, the Blaziken Hollow is one of the cards that isn't, well, we don't see at the moment printed in English, but I will tell you that it's alright. I mean, I'm a Blaziken kind of guy, but it's not worth running in a deck, unfortunately. The Swampert, I like Swampert too. That's why I wanted to see this. Well, another reason why I just wanted to say this Swampert kind of looks fabulous. Like, seriously, it's holding out its hand like, hey, girlfriend. Sorry if that offended anybody, but I'm just trying to be funny. I don't, I have nothing against gays. I just thought that's what it looked like. But anyway, enough about that. Alpha Growth. That's what this half art Swampert has, which looks really, really rad. This is definitely one of my favorite half arts, large arts, whatever you want to call them. Alpha Growth. Whenever you attach an energy from your hand to this Pokemon, not by ability or trainer, then you may attach 2 more energy cards. So more energy acceleration. I think that I don't know. Maybe Alpha Growth might be the best out of the traits. I don't know, but we'll see. Now, its ability. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a card, shuffle your deck, and then put it on top of it. Well, not really. This attack, and then Hydro Pump. This attack does 30 more damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. So it's basically like Keldeo's Secret Sword, but in my opinion, just slightly better, only because it does 30 more damage. I mean, yeah, the base attack is 40, but hey, I mean, I'm pretty sure the damage will add up really quickly. And I just want to take a moment to look at this awesome Ludicolo half art, large art, whatever you want to call it. And the next EX Pokemon we see is Wailord EX. Now, the very interesting thing about Wailord is that it has 250 HP. That is really big. It's not even a Mega Pokemon either. It's just a regular EX, and it's got 250 HP. Its ability sucks. Whenever you attach an energy from your hand to this Pokemon, remove all special conditions. And for 5 water energies, you're doing 120 damage, and this Pokemon is now asleep. Wow. Not even colorless energies are all water. For 120, and your Pokemon is now asleep. I get that they've put Water Veil to counteract that, but they could have done so much better. Charizard's attacks, I'm sorry, not Charizard, but Mega Charizard's attacks cost like 5 energies, and they did 300 damage. And yes, granted, their setbacks are bad, but this is worse. Like, there are many times where sleep could cost you the game. Okay, anyway, let's check out this Milotic, just because I like Milotic. Or Milotic, I don't know how you guys pronounce it, but anyway, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may put a card from your discard pile into your hand. This might come in handy in some decks, maybe. And Aqua Swirl for a water and double colorless. You may have your opponent switch his or her active Pokemon with one of his or her bench Pokemon. So it's basically like a Roar, but it does damage. It's actually not bad, but I don't see it being competitive either. Alrighty. Next up, we have this half art, large art. I don't even know what to call it. I'm just going to say whatever. Whiscash. So, Whiscash is pretty good. well, I wouldn't say pretty good, but he looks pretty cool. He's got the Alpha Growth Ancient trait, and his attacks are really bad. I just like to look at the half arts. I try to talk about the half arts as much as I can, but sometimes I just want to look at things. I do want to point out that this is the first time in a long time that we've seen Huntel and Gorbis in a TCG set. I think it's been since like the old Ruby and Sapphire days. Yeah, I'm very surprised to see them, and Clamperl too. It's really cool. Okay, now one thing I do want to mention is that I don't remember seeing a Kyogre in the Japanese set. So if anybody wants to tell me what's going on, what's up with this, like if this is just like a promo that they released in Japan and they just didn't release it in the United States, just leave it in the comments section below. Wait a minute. Okay, never mind. I thought the symbols were different, but they're the same. So why didn't we see this in Japan? I don't know. But anyway, another EX Pokemon that I like to talk about is Kyogre EX. If it'll, like, I don't know why it's not going up so much, but trust me, it's there. So for a water and a colorless, your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. Not bad. And then 2 water and a double colorless. Return 2 water energies attached to this Pokemon to your hand. And I'm guessing that's like a really good combo with the Alpha Growth, maybe. We will probably see some combos with that, definitely. And of course, the big mascot of this set, Primal Kyogre EX with the Alpha Growth Ancient trait once again. And of course, the Primal reversion rule is the same as Mega Evolution. Whenever you Primal Evolve Kyogre, your turn ends. So it's the same crappy rule, but good news is they still made Spirit Links for all the Megas in the set. Now I just wish they would make Spirit Links of all the Megas in the oldest. Can't even talk today. Older set. So let's take a look at his attack. For 3 water and a colorless, you're doing 150 damage, and you move 2 energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. This attack does 30 more damage to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon EX. I think this has potential. This is pretty solid. The only concern I have is the fact that, well, you have to have 3 water energies in a colorless rather than 2 waters in a double colorless. But, like I said, the Alpha Growth may come in handy. You never know. So, this may have some potential. Now, the card that I'm really stoked about is Camerupt EX. So, I'm pretty sure this is the Fire-type Pokemon that the Fire-type players have been waiting for besides Pyroar. I mean, Charizard's a little decent, but check this out. So, for a Fire and a colorless, tumbling attack does 30, flip a coin of heads, 30 more. Okay, but for 2 Fire and a double colorless, this is like the same cost as Combustion Blast. Keep that in mind. Same cost as Combustion Blast. Discard as many Fire energy attached to your Pokemon as you like. Keep in mind, it says attached to your Pokemon, not just attached to Camerupt. And this attack does 50 damage times the number of energies you discarded. What? If you have at least 4 Fire energies in play, that's 200 damage. And sometimes you don't even need that. Like if you have a Muscle Band attached to Camerupt and you discard 3, that's 170, which knocks out a lot of competitive EX Pokemon in today's playing. Like, wow. So, maybe running Embor with this. I mean, granted, Embor is a stage 2, but if somebody can find a way to break Camerupt EX, just let me know in the comment section below, because I would like to know. So there's a cool looking half-art Electrike, cool looking Electric. I almost got them mixed up, but Electrike has Mega Barrier, Electric has Alpha Recovery. When this Pokemon is healed, double the amount of healed. So, pretty cool. I do want to take a look at this Electros, because I think that maybe this will... I'm having a feeling that some people are going to try to combo this with the Kyogre EX, maybe. Or not Kyogre, but Primal Kyogre. As often as you like during your turn, you may move a basic energy to one of your bench Pokemon to your active Pokemon. So, this is like a rundown version of Aromatisse Fairy Transfer. But, only difference is you're limited on this one. So, I don't think it's worth it. And of course, his attack is not really worth it either. I'm not even going to go over it. And this half art Nidoqueen looks really, really cool. And I think that this one actually, despite being stage 2, might be really good. This Pokemon may attack twice a turn, which is really cool. And it has some mediocre attacks, like Poison Jab, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. And Dynamite Punch, this Pokemon does 20 damage to itself for 70. But if you have a Muscle Band attached to Nidoqueen, that's knocking out any EX Pokemon that's not a Mega except Wailord. Going back to Wailord, I think that Dawn fan players may run it just to, spinning turn into a Wailord. Try to one-shot this, only Mega Charizard can. Or unless you have the grass weakness. But anyway, Tentacle half art looks pretty cool, if I say so myself. Now, I think this is definitely my absolute favorite half art of this set, in my opinion. Actually, second favorite. Rhyperior with the Omega Barrier Ancient trait and the Rock Wall ability. Any damage done to your Pokemon by an opponent's attack is reduced by 10. It's a darn shame it's in stage 2 because this would have been kind of good. And of course, in case you're curious, for a double colorless and 2 fighting, 100 damage for Hammer Arm, discard the top card of your opponent's deck. Mediocre Pokemon, but I do love that artwork indeed. Alright, next one I want to look at is a half art Medicham. Large art, whatever. He has the Omega Barrage ability, so he can attack twice. Calm Mind to heal 30 from him, and Yoga Kick. That's a pretty interesting attack. This attack's damage isn't affected by weakness or resistance. Yoga Kick is very bad. For 2 fighting energy, you're only doing 30 damage. Granted, you don't have the resistance thing, but Lucario EX's Missile Jab does 30 for 1, and it's not affected by resistance. Or this isn't affected by weakness or resistance. So, very bad, in my opinion, very bad. But I do like the artworks. Alright, so the next 5... Oh, sorry, never mind. They have a Groudon, just like the Kyogre too, which I didn't see the Japanese set. Whoa! This one looks a little angry, and this one looks like it has a little bit of a underbite. Like, I don't know if you can see this, but it looks... I mean, it looks like Groudon, but his mouth looks a little off. If you can go take a look at it yourself. Like, he kind of looks like an angry bulldog of some sort. But anyway, back to the EXs that I want to look at. And the Groudon EX, for some reason, is doing the same thing that the Kyogre EX is doing. It's not letting me zoom in on it enough, but trust me, it's there. So, for fighting in a colorless, Rip Claw, flip a coin of heads, discard energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. And then for 4 energies, 3 fighting in a colorless, Massive Rend for 130. End of story. I don't see this card being used in competitive play. I know that they have strong energy and muscle band and all this other stuff that powers up your fighting type Pokemon, but I don't see this being used in competitive play. Simply because the energy cost is too big. And plus the grass weakness, which is really bad against Parisian Genesect. But Primal Groudon looks like he can have a lot of potential. So, for the same cost as the, what's it called? Massive Rend, you're doing 100 damage, which is, less than that. But if there's any stadium cards in play, this attack does 100 more damage, and then you discard that stadium. Wow. I can see this being played. 200 damage, and all you have to do is discard a stadium in play, whether it's your opponent's or your own stadium. Wow. That is pretty good. That one, in my opinion, has a lot of potential. And I don't see a lot of dark Pokemon in this set unless they forgot to... Oh yeah, they forgot the Hollow Crawdont. But that's not important. At least they're getting the EXs. So, Sharpedo EX. Now, this one's a little bit of a disappointment. So, it has the attack Hunt for a dark and a colorless, which one of your opponent's bench Pokemon with his or her active Pokemon. This attack does 30 damage to the new active Pokemon. Pretty crappy, and to make things even crappier, 2 dark energies and a colorless, 100 damage, discard an energy attached to this Pokemon, then discard an energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. No. And plus the fact that it has a lightning weakness, which is really bad for a dark deck, considering that Yveltal is already weak against dark, or not dark, but lightning, sorry. That's just not good. Okay, so next up is Aggron EX. Aggron EX looks really, really cool. It has Steel Headbutt for a steel and a double colorless, 50, and then flip a coin if it adds 30 more damage. Nah. And then 2 steals and a double colorless, Raging Hammer for 60 damage, and does 10 more for each damage counter on this Pokemon. So this is like an outrage on crack, but once again, I don't see this being used in competitive play simply because you don't want to take the risk of having an EX with an attack that's similar to Outrage. But I must say the Mega Aggron EX looks really interesting. So, Megaton Slam for a 2 steel and a double colorless. Flip a coin. Well, first of all, it's already doing 120 damage. And flip a coin. If heads, do 120 more damage. That's knocking out everything except that Wailord EX. Really good. If tails, this attack does 20 damage to each of your bench Pokemon. So, simple thing to take care of that. Run Mr. Mime. And a Flip Teeny. You will be fine. Alright. And Excadrill, the next half art. I don't think this one's too well, so I'll just not look at that. Alright, now these I'm really excited for. So I've been waiting for a Gardevoir EX for a while because Gardevoir is one of my top faves Pokemon. It might be my third favorite. You know, my second favorite being Lucario, first being Blaziken, but anyway. So Gardevoir EX is not too bad. For a 1 Fairy Energy, you're doing 20 damage, and then you heal the same damage that you've dealt to the Pokemon. Okay. Then for 3 Fairy Energies, doing 100, and then during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon has no weakness, which could come in handy if you're up against a Steel deck. Unless you're up facing off against a Dialga, then you're pretty much screwed because Gardevoir has 170 HP, so with a Muscle Band, Dialga can knock out Gardevoir with just 1 full metal impact. But Mega Gardevoir, I think, has a lot of potential, and this is the reason why I'm really excited. I think that Mega Gardevoir is the Fairy-type attacker that the Fairy support has always needed. So check this out. This attack does 30 damage. Well, first of all, that's called Brilliant Arrow. Brilliant Arrow, if I can talk, gosh. For a Fairy and double colorless, does 30 damage times the number of Fairy energy attached to all of your Pokemon. That is pretty insane. So, all you need is to Geomancy a few times, get at least 6 energies into play, and you're knocking out all the competitive EX Pokemon that, well, not all of them, but most of them. And if you're up against a Mega, just get 2 more. I mean, the damage will add up really quickly. I think that this will have a lot of potential. Alright, and this right here is my favorite large art. Kingdra. Looks really, really cool. I don't think he's going to be any good, but it looks cool. Bidoof looks really cool too. He looks like he's... I can't tell if he's in the rain or what, but he looks like he's... I don't know what to call that. Sun Salutation, I guess? I don't know. And Bunnelby? I think this one looks pretty cool. But, okay, that's all the Pokemon. Now let's take a look at some of the trainers. Let's see some interesting ones. Acrobuck, what does this one do? Look at the top 2 cards of your deck and then put one of them into your hand and discard the other. This might be good. I can see this being used in some decks, but it's not as good as Bicycle, in my opinion. Oh yeah, another thing I want to point out is that for every Mega and Primal Pokemon they have in this set, they have made Spirit Links. Look at this. Aggron Spirit Link, Gardevoir Spirit Link, Groudon Spirit Link, and Kyogre Spirit Link, which means that Gardevoir has even more potential because she got a Spirit Link. This makes me really happy, so I'm really excited to test out Gardevoir, especially Mega Gardevoir. Alright, so one of the new supporters is Archie's Ace in the Hole. That's not what they called it in Japan, and it just sounds funny. I'm sorry. So, okay, you can play this card only when it's the last card in your hand. That's kind of bad. Put a water Pokemon from your discard pile onto your bench and then draw 5 cards. Only thing I have against this card is the fact that it has to be the only card in your hand, but we'll see how this works. Dive Ball. Search your deck for a water Pokemon and put it in your hand. That is a little ridiculous because it's a free water Pokemon. This is like Plasma Ball, but with water Pokemon. Come on. You can search for an EX Pokemon. Be a little more specific. Alright. And they're reprinting Energy Retrieval, which is really cool. Reprinting Escape Rope, which is also really cool. Reprinting Experience Share, which I could care less about. And Fresh Water, heal 20 damage from each of your Pokemon. I guess I can also combo with Mega Aggron if you really want to run that. I mean, that's up to you. We've already looked at all the Spirit Links. And Maxie's Hidden Ball Trick. What is with all these weird names? I don't know. I mean, first you got Ace in the Hole, then Ball Trick. I mean, that I'm sorry, but that sounds a little dirty, folks. But anyway, Maxie's, it's the same thing. Like, he has to be the only card in your hand, and then the only difference is you're putting a fighting Pokemon in your bench instead of a water Pokemon, and then once again draw 5 cards. So, not that impressive. I mean, if they would have taken out that one rule where it has to be the only card in your hand, maybe, but no. Professor Bert's Observations. Now this one I find interesting. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then flip a coin. If heads, draw 7. If tails, draw 4. It's not horrible, but not awesome. I mean, Colress still is a lot better than that, in my opinion. They've reprinted Rare Candy. Repeat Ball. Now this is an interesting one. Search your deck for a Pokemon with the same name as one of your Pokemon in play. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. I think this one might be worth running. Like maybe 1 or 2 of. I mean, it doesn't hurt because you do run a lot of copies in a lot of competitive decks now. Rough Seas. Once during each player's turn, that player may heal 30 damage from his or her water and lightning Pokemon. I think this would have been better if they made a grass version of this, where the grass support has already had like a lot of healing stuff, but I can't complain. Scorched Earth. Once during each player's turn, that player may discard a fire or fighting energy from his or her hand. If that player does so, he or she draws 2 cards. This, I think, is really, really cool. Because not only are you getting energy in your discard pile for Blacksmith, but you're drawing 2 cards, and it's basically like a Fiery Torch, but with a Stadium card. I think this one has potential. Shrine of Memories. Each player's evolved Pokemon can use any attack from its previous evolutions. Maybe this would be good with Mega Aggron and Aggron, since, you know, Aggron has an Outrage-ish attack. Maybe. We'll see. Now, here's a really good one. Silent Lab. Each basic Pokemon in play in each player's hand and in each player's discard pile has no abilities. So it's like a rundown version of Garbodor, where Garbodor shuts down all abilities. This one only shuts down, like, the basic Pokemon. This, I could see people siding in against, like, well, I wouldn't say side in, but use against Virizion Genesect, since Virizion Genesect is nothing but revolving around Genesect's Red Signal and Virizion's Verdant Wind. Alright, Teammates. So this is kind of like Twins, but with a different rule. You can only play this card if one of your Pokemon was knocked out during your opponent's last turn. I don't know about that rule. Search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them into your hand. Shuffle your deck afterwards. Twins, you had to be behind on prizes, which was worth it. But this, I don't really see too much being played. It'd be kind of ironic if both of these were prized. Weakness Policy. The Pokemon this card is attached to has no weakness. Well, maybe. I mean, Shadow Circle kind of makes this card useless. So, yeah. Alright. Last 2 non-Pokemon I want to look at. Shield Energy. So, they're making special energies for different types as usual. And this one they're using Steel. And this is kind of fitting. The attacks of your opponent's Pokemon do 10 less damage to the Steel Pokemon this card is attached to. And for Fairy Energies, prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks except damage done to the Fairy Pokemon that this card is attached to. So Water Energy and Shield Energy. Water Energy is actually pretty good in my opinion. I mean, if they have like a flip, if they automatically poison you, then it wouldn't affect it. The only thing that would do is damage. So I could see this being run in some fairy decks. I mean, I'd only run 2 because, I mean, you can't accelerate this with Xerneas, unfortunately. But, hey, it's really, really good. Alright, now I just want to take a look at some of the cool full arts that are in the set. Here's Trevenant. Sucks, but the full art looks cool. Camera Up looks really, really amazing. Really good card, too. Wailord, full art doesn't look too well. He looks a little derpy. And I can see Dawn fan players wanting to run this, but other than that, not too good. I do like the art on Kai Ogre. It looks really amazing. And plus, I also want to say that I'm really happy that they've finally done this. This is something I've been waiting for. They made full arts for the Megas. And they're changing the gold rares back to item cards. I am very happy that they've done this. I've been waiting for this. And yeah, I'm just rambling. But that looks really awesome. Primal they didn't print the... They didn't show the Groudon EX. But for those who have seen the Japanese set, I'm pretty sure you've seen it already. But this looks really cool. And the Groudon EX looks really cool. Sharpedo looks like he's about to eat your face off. I mean, it looks really, really amazing. Aggron EX. Now this one, I like the artwork. But once again, the card's not that good. Mega Groudon is... Actually, it doesn't look too bad. I like it. Okay, now I'm extremely biased. My personal favorite out of the full arts is Gardevoir. Like, it just looks so beautiful. I don't usually play a lot of full arts in my competitive decks, but I definitely want to run 2 full art Gardevoirs and Mega Gardevoirs because they just look so beautiful. Oh my gosh, it just looks so cool. Okay, enough of me about me drooling. The full art trainers, once again, they did a really good job on the artworks. Not so great on the what they do, and plus the... I mean, they did a good job on what they do. But the ruling on what to do is a little too chancy, and I don't like it. Professor Birch's observations is... Actually, doesn't look too bad. I mean, he's still fat, nonetheless. And teammates, you have the very timid one and the really happy one. Once again, it would be a good card if it weren't for the ruling. And I want to point out that once again, they're bringing about the gold rare trainer cards, which means that if you're going to completely hollow out a deck, that means you're going to be spending more money. I mean, Enhanced Hammer has been around for a while, and they've brought it back in Phantom Forces, and now they've reprinted it in, well, what this set will be called Primal Clash. They've also made a gold rare Dive Ball and a gold rare Weakness Policy. So if you want to run a competitive water deck and you want to hollow out, I'm sorry, but there goes your wallet. I don't know if they've made any more gold rare stuff, but hey, it's whatever. I mean, overall, I'm really excited for this set. I mean, I like the new large arts. I like the, oh gosh, what's it called again? Ancient Traits. And I also like the fact that they made one of my favorite Pokemon, Mega Gardevoir, like really good in my opinion. I think that she is the one with the most potential, in my opinion. If I'm wrong, go ahead and tell me so in the comment sections below. I don't care. This is just my personal opinion, but I want to hear your opinion. Like, who do you think has the most potential out of all the Pokemon and or Mega Pokemon EX? Please tell me in the comment section below. I love opinions. And yeah, guys, that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. And once again, I am very, very sorry for not posting in a while, but I've been really busy. I'm going to try to post as much as I can. I can't make any promises, but I'm going to try to post as much as I can. That way, you know, I actually feel like I'm doing something with this channel. But I hope you guys enjoyed my input on this stuff. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.